Opposition leader Peter Dutton in Australia is strongly defending his investment practices amid scrutiny over his share trading during the global financial crisis. This is the headline, as Dutton denies claims from Prime Minister Anthony Albanese regarding hidden assets in a private trust, asserting that he has always acted with integrity. He clarified that the only property he owns is a farm valued at over $2 million and acknowledged some delays in updating his property records. Dutton also explained his family's extensive property transactions amounting to some $30 million across 35 years. Now, this may not play well with younger voters who are struggling to get into the property market or to, frankly, have any investments at all, but a lot of Australians have done the same thing. And let's not forget the Prime Minister has a multi-million-dollar beachfront house that he bought not so long ago.
Yeah, well, Peter Dutton has been doing this since he was age 20, buying and selling property. And look, this is a wealth generation strategy that many Australians use and is quite normal. There is nothing sinister about it. Yes, if you add up all of the purchases and sales over that period of time, you come up with a rough figure of around about $30 million. That doesn't mean he has a $30 million portfolio. But look, it can't be denied that that because of his involvement in running his own businesses over the years, Peter Dutton has a fair degree of self-generated wealth.
I think that is the stuff that we don't actually understand about him, because when I think about Peter Dutton, I think about him being a police officer and then becoming a politician. But there's obviously this family business and buying and selling shares, and particularly during the GFC, investing in banks. That has become something that Labor has criticised and asked the question about insider trading.
Yeah, they asked the question. I'm not really sure if there is going to be a lot behind it. Very much like the property sales, what Peter Dutton did was buy some shares. Peter Dutton, in opposition, bought some shares before the Labor government of the day announced a rescue package for the banks in the GFC. Now, Peter Dutton would not have been privy to any insider information. He probably just read the papers like everyone else, saw what was happening around the world, and probably identified that, well, it's quite likely that there will be a rescue package here. And again, this is a story that creates a bit of a narrative for people who probably don't like Peter Dutton anyway. It's something they can grasp onto.
Well, it's an excuse for a lot of people who are looking for a reason not to vote for him because they don't like him. He has always been a villain for the left to focus on. But it comes down to cost of living, and obviously a lot of people are doing it tough, many struggling to pay their mortgage. Do you think that it will stick? We've heard from some pollsters who say it won't, but what do you think? Do you think people out there will be watching? Because obviously when it comes to preferred Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese is still in the lead, not by much, but the coalition, according to multiple polls, is either 55 ahead to 45 Labor, or 53 or 52, but still in the lead, whichever way you look at it. Does Peter Dutton become a liability for the party, or is he leading the party to election success?
Oh, look, I don't think this story will have a huge impact. It's come out so early before an election is even called.
That's the weird part, right? You'd think that they might drop it on election eve or something to do it beforehand.
Well, I guess if one is to believe Nine Prince, the journalist said that this is not a handout from the Labor so-called dirt unit, that this is his own work. And if he says that, that's to be believed. But really, this story does have all the signs of some meticulous research that's been done behind the scenes. Look, as I say, the journalist says it's not, and we have to believe him on that.
Well, thankfully there are journalists who still do meticulous research behind the scenes. So hopefully in this case, that is how it is. But obviously, you see a lot of very close relationships between the media and politicians, particularly at election time, where it's in the politicians' favour to be getting stuff out of there. Do you think that there'll be more to come on Peter Dutton?
Oh, look, absolutely, there will be a lot to come, because I think the narrative that's building around Peter Dutton is that he is not necessarily likeable by all, but he does have there is a perception that he is a lot stronger than the current Prime Minister, and that in troubled economic times may well be what carries on the day. So you can expect a lot more dirt to be coming out.
It's such an interesting difference between Australian, or I should say Westminster politics, and the American presidential system, where in Australia we are essentially having a debate about whether or not the Prime Minister should be able to own a multi-million-dollar house. Good luck trying to find a house that isn't worth millions of dollars these days. And same with the opposition leader about having shares. Whereas in the United States, they've chosen a billionaire who is a property developer who, in fact, is a success financially, and they see that by having a leader who is successful at the share market and has judgment when it comes to housing could actually benefit them. Whereas we see it, what does this say about our mentality, do you think?
Well, I think it's possibly not so much a reflection of the different structures of the political systems, but I guess the parties. And we have, in this country, in Australia that is, the Labor Party and the Conservative side, whereas in the United States, the division between Republicans and Democrats is less, is kind of less obvious from an Australian perspective, because you have, for example, Nancy Pelosi, who is very fond of share trading herself, and she's pretty senior Democrat and very wealthy. So I think this is a phenomenon particular to political systems where there's a division, I guess, between Labor parties and non-Labor parties.
The workers and the rich, and everyone
Correct.
wants their share. All right.